Hello, my name is Charlie. I'm a famous filmmaker and director, but you know me already, don't you? Oh, well, it hasn't always been like this anyway. So sit down, grab some popcorn, and let me tell you my story. But before we start, please hit the like button and subscribe. This is me, Charlie, and this is my best friend, Rose. Me and Rose grew up together since we were only babies. We played together, we went to school together, we did everything together. We were like autumn and colds, unavoidable. Like rain and thunder, indivisible. Rose was the sister I never had. I was to her the brother she never... Well, you got the point. She was blonde while I was black. She was shy while I was sunny. She had a big brain while I had a big butt. We fit perfectly together. Most of all, we had one dream in common. One day, we would become filmmakers and make movies about witches. Yes, that was our dream at the time, our common goal in life. And we were all ready to get it realized. But what a tragic fate awaited us. Well, I'm being a bit overly dramatic here, but please, let me explain. It was our last year in high school and a few weeks before Halloween. I was reaching my classroom like every morning when Rose came running toward me. Charlie! Charlie! Rose, what? Charlie! Rose! Charlie! Rose! Charlie! Barely breathing, Rose managed to announce to me that the school had opened a cinematographic contest where the winners would be enrolled in the best movie school in the country. We started screaming. At that point, me and Rose already had tins of scripts ready. We simply chose one and brought it in the next morning to our art professor to have it approved. But instead, there stood Mona, high like a giraffe, dressed like a rock star, and loud like a tempest. Who is Mona, you ask? She's the daughter of a famous celebrity couple, a movie producer dad, and a 5-star actress mom. She had the best connections, the best grades, and the best face. A cloud of desperation came upon us when we saw her just talking to the teacher, explaining her project for her script. We felt lost. When our turn came, I spoke for both of us because Rose was too shy to speak, and the sight of Mona shook her too much. Hey, Charlie. Nice job there. What? What? Mona was approaching me, willing to talk. Had I stumbled, hit my head, and fallen into a dream without noticing? Sorry, I couldn't help but listen to your script while you were explaining. It seems like some hot stuff there. Did you come up with it all by yourself? Well, me and Rose, yes. It seems you have a promising future in the business, baby. Would you mind joining me tonight at my party? There'll be producers, movie stars, and many important people. I couldn't believe it was happening. It was too much for me, and all at once. Of course, me and Rose will be there for sure. Rose? I'm sorry. I don't want someone who is barely able to speak in public to be associated with me. You are invited. See you later, baby. She left like the tornado she was, leaving both me and Rose speechless. I tried to console my best friend, convincing her this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that could help us both. Rose nodded her head, but her look told me something else. I pretended not to see it and went straight to the party. This was an occasion I just simply couldn't afford to lose. Mona's house was not exactly a house. It was a castle, a gigantic manor with a park, 4 towers, and 2 pools. All over the place, men in elegant suits and shiny-looking women talked to each other cheerfully.
Oh dear, you've arrived.
Sir, lady, nice to meet you. I'm so glad you invited me. That man and woman were Mona's parents. They look amazing together. A perfect couple in a perfect house. Everything was perfect in Mona's life. Shiny and bright, like herself. Please, enough with the pleasantries. You're part of the family now. Mona told us all about the project you're working on together. The project? Of course. I told Mom and Dad we are working on an amazing movie. We will win the contest for sure. I didn't know what to say. I was totally caught unprepared. So I just smiled and said nothing. Mona's parents left us soon, and I immediately reached after her. Mona, what did you tell them? Well, that we work together. Isn't that true? But I already work with Rose. Didn't you know that? She's my best friend. I can't just leave her like this. Mona just smiled and washed the problem away with a swing of her hand. You create too many problems, baby. Can't you just work with us both? Come on, let's have fun. I'm ashamed to admit, but the truth is that I forgot Rose for some time, and quite easily. I just loved to be asked about my history and my interests by all these interesting people there. The future was winking at me and I just couldn't resist. Then I saw him. How to describe the finch that came to perch on my branch? He was like a god in a garden on Olympus. He was like a breeze on a hot summer day. He was like well, that horse was hot, girls. You can bet about it. That angel had dark eyes like enchantment and such a fine, elegant beard. I was totally captured. He must have noticed my dumb expression because he started smiling at me as if trying to help me retrieve some of my dignity. Too late. And Charlie, let me introduce you to my brother Tom.
So you are the famous Charlie. A handsome lady, that's for sure. Nice to meet you.
Is he really going to kiss my hand? Is he really? Oh, God, I'm fainting. I'm fainting. Am I famous? How?
Of course. Mona has talked about you all afternoon. Mona, can I steal this lady from you for some time?
Do as you please, brother. But be a good boy.
I always am. Mona, don't scare our host like this.
The walk with Tom around the garden felt like a dream. He was not only handsome in sight, but also elegant, charming, and kind. His fierce appearance was balanced by such a quiet temper that it made him look like the perfect man in every single way imaginable. Hours passed in a flash, like seconds. Come back soon, baby. We're here for you anytime you want. Couldn't wait to be invited again. The image of Tom was still in my eyes when I woke up. And even if I don't remember it with certainty, I can bet I dreamed about him. How did it go? Rose's soft voice reached me as if coming from far, far away when she met me in the corridors at school. I felt happy to see her, but not so happy as I should have been. I think she noticed, but I kept it a secret. I explained to her all that happened the night before and promised to meet her within a few days in order to complete our script. The plot was there, but so much work had yet to be done. Fine then. See you soon. See ya. Those were busy times for me. In the daytime, I met Mona to work on our script for the contest. At night, I often saw Tom. Mona's script was completely different from mine. Her subject was Barbie. Barbie! Can you believe it? What's wrong with that? Barbie was a paradigm of freedom for girls, don't you know? Mona's fantasy was wild. She had a lot of ideas, but none of them were connected to each other. Her thoughts were as chaotic and impulsive as she was. Without me, she would have been lost. But what about Rose? Without me, she would have been lost too. She was smart and nerdy, but she didn't have the creativity I had. Rose had always been my best friend and sister, and even if Mona's spell and Tom's charm were still upon me like magic crows, I started to feel bad about how easily I abandoned my lifelong friend in order to get a quick ticket to success. The moment of the contest was approximating, and I had to speak with Mona about this. I would have helped her with her project, but I had to participate in a team with Rose, and if Mona didn't want Rose, I would leave the Barbies in order to go back to the witches. I found the courage and spoke to Mona. Roar! Can you imagine a dragon's reaction to someone trying to steal his gold from under his throne? The same was Mona's reaction to my words, if not worse. Out of my house! Never come back again! I will eat you! Do you think I'm being overly dramatic again? You weren't there, my friend. I think I barely saved my own life. I'm lucky to be here to tell the story. Yet I felt happy after arriving home. I felt I had done the right thing. Now there was only Tom to speak to. Even if I liked him, our time had to wait until after the contest was finished. I couldn't subtract any more energy from Rose and our witchy project. I mean, there can be only one Dua Lipa in the world, right? Enough with Barbie.
Hey, Angel.
Tom's words were honey poured all over me. I melted. But hey, not this time. I had serious work to do. Listen, Tom, there's something we must talk about.
Something like what? Did I do something wrong?
No, it's not about you. It's about Mona.
My sister, huh? She always was more like a Shrek than a Barbie.
She's not that bad, but I can't be her teammate for the contest. Rose is my teammate. You and Mona are wonderful. You live in an amazing house. Your life is perfect, but... Tom's eyes went big and sad at those words of mine. Maybe it was the wrong thing to say, but how could I know? From what I had seen up to that moment, their lives were like pink molasses. Disgustingly sugary.
Do you really think our life is wonderful, honey? You know so little about us.
What do you mean? While walking, Tom told me how he and Mona had lived since they were children, how harsh their parents had been on them since their youngest age.
They do that for us. They push us towards obtaining the best grades and the best results in every field. But sometimes the best is not the best. Sometimes you would just like to live a normal life.
This is why Mona loves Barbie so much, maybe?
It's a way for her to remain a child.
Tom's eyes were not lying. I took his hand and kept it between mine for some time.
Still, a wrong behavior remains a wrong behavior. Mona will have to grow up sooner or later. You were a strong girl and made the right choice today. I'm proud of you, Charlie.
At that point, I was melting again. The perfect features of Tom's figure were silhouetted against the moon, like a character from some gothic tale. I felt Tom's body pressing against mine while he brought my head gently against his chest. He's going to kiss me finally. He's going to kiss me. Instead, he simply kept my head there for some time, caressing my neck. No more. Nothing more. WTH?
Listen, Charlie, there's something I must say to you too.
Was eager to listen to his confession, but my phone rang at that exact moment. Rose! I totally forgot about our appointment. Rose would be furious. She was. For several days. Every attempt of mine to make peace with her went in vain. The contest was lost at that point. There was no chance to win against Mona and her Barbie-stuffed stuff. The days up to the contest flew by fast and dull. We knew we had lost. Now, you really can't imagine my surprise when Rose and I found that on the notice board of the school, there was a list of the winning projects. And the first one was about witches. As authors, it had 3 names: Rose, Charlie, and Mona. A coincidence? Of course not. It was our project. We won, but we didn't submit it, of course. So who did? The question puzzled us for some time until we received a phone call from a strangely masked voice. Oh dear. She tried hard to excuse herself for her behavior in the most recent times. Her voice didn't disclose her origin, but it wasn't too much of a guess. Mona. We found out with certainty later, when the 3 of us, plus Tom, met together at the back of the school to talk about the matter. Mona looked like a baby. She cried all the time and told us she felt guilty for how she treated Rose after Tom had talked to her. To get her excused, instead of her script, Mona submitted a copy of ours, proposing it as if it had been worked upon by the 3 of us. Of course it won. It was written by me after all. But this wasn't the only news of the day. Tom, don't you have something you want to say?
Yes, well, Charlie, I have a confession to make.
Oh, yes, finally! The bomb was going to explode. The moment I expected for days and days finally arrived. After such a tragic story, I was going to have my sweet piece of cake after all. Yes, Tom, tell me, please.
I have a crush on Rose.
Oh, Tom, yes, a crush on... Wait, what?
I really didn't know how to say it, but now I can't keep it a secret anymore. I like you, Rose. Would you like to go out on a date with me sometime?
I couldn't believe it. Rose went red like a tomato and I was shocked. Mona was laughing hard and her joy expanded contagiously. So this was the secret? I should have felt offended, but the occasion was so joyful that I felt too happy for Rose to be concerned about myself. All's well that ends well? Mona and I went on in life, becoming best friends, and we went to college together. You know, sometimes things take such an unpredictable turn that the only thing to do is sit back, relax, and watch the events unfold as if they were a movie. And isn't life a long, tear-jerking, and magical movie itself? Oh God, I can't believe what an incredible artist I am. Really.